Hi, welcome back to Burning River Bushcraft. Today we're going to be making a back quiver. If this is the kind of thing you like to see, go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment in the comment box, and ring the bell to be notified of my latest videos. You can also find me on Instagram and Facebook at Burning River Bushcraft. I teach outdoor classes at outdoorcore.com. So I've had this vintage Parabow made in the USA back quiver for quite a few years now. I was looking for a back quiver, preferably used, and so I look on eBay for this kind of stuff, and they were expensive. So all the ones that looked interesting to me, they were just a lot of money. So I decided to make my own, and I was just going to buy the most inexpensive one I could find, and that was this one right here. This was the Parabow. So this Parabow, made by Shakespeare, made in the USA. It's kind of a pleathery leather. It's probably not the best quality, probably never was. And I got it, and it looked super cool to me. It had like a knife sheath in the back, accessory pocket here, and I thought this thing was too cool to just cut up and use it for a pattern. So actually for quite a while this thing just sat in my basement on display, and then I started using it and then it started to not hold up, and you can see the seams are just going on this thing. And finally when the strap gave loose, I really can't easily sew it back. So at that point I really need a quiver pretty bad. So I'm willing to sacrifice this quiver. I'm going to cut it open, I'm going to get the dimensions laid out, and I'm going to put that in the video so you're able to make your own without buying one and sacrificing a vintage one like this. So I'm pretty much going to rip this open down one seam, and it's not going to take much. I mean this thing is probably from the 50s. If you know, if there's any quiver experts out there and you know when the Shakespeare Parabow quiver was made, you know, leave me a comment in the comment box. I'm assuming, and probably pretty safely assuming, this would be a 50s or 60s era quiver. And again, I've just got a triple stitch section up here. I'm going to cut this out. And I don't see any big hordes of spiders coming out at me, so that's a bonus, I guess. I actually thought this was going to be a bigger deal taking this apart. I really hated to give up on this quiver, but I guess it's for the best. So now that I've got the seams all cut out of this Shakespeare Parabow back quiver, I'll give you the dimensions. At its tallest point, it's 21.5. So 21.5 both sides. And then at the short spot in the middle, so right here, I'm at 16.75. So you can kind of see the radius it's got. You can kind of make your own mind up what you want yours to look like. And as far as width goes, this is 15.5. And at the very top it is 19.5. so it does have that taper to it because your fletching is going to take up a lot more room than your base of your arrows. And this holds a lot of arrows. This holds plenty. It's not excessively big. Like I said, I really like this one. That's why I'm going to use this one for a pattern. So take those numbers, kind of figure out this little swoop, and this will get you something pretty close to what I've got now. So this is a pretty big piece of leather right here. This is a 4 to 6 ounce double shoulder, I think is what they call this. And I got this from Tandy Leather. So I'm just going to lay this out on the leather right now, using the biggest part of the leather that I've got. And then I'm going to just scribe it out. I'll cut it out. That way I should be able to just fold it and sew one seam right up the middle. So I've got the body of the quiver as well as the shoulder attachment. I have to make the strap yet for that. We're all cut out, and I cut a small groove where the stitching is going to go. This is going to be the visible side, the top side. And next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and line this up. I've got a small little line here. I'm going to line this all up, just clamp it into place, and go ahead and punch my holes through both sides of the leather. So to get that done, I had a groover, I had an inch wheel or a spacing wheel for the stitching, and then just a regular awl. And this comes in Tandy Leather's kit, so this is really nothing special as far as leather working tools go. All right, so I did get my shoulder piece attached, and this is rough side in, so it's gonna be towards me. And I got the entire seam sewn as well, and it's all looking pretty good. So right now I just got 2 straps cut, and these are about 1 inch wide. And I'm just gonna overlap one here, and then I'll take a measurement off the other one. I'll fill you in that measurement as soon as I need it. And I'll get the strap sewn on, and then we're ready for the bottom. All right, so the bottom strap here was a buckle, and I don't have a buckle, so I'm just gonna have a leather strap coming up, and then I'll lace it together. And we are looking at 5 inches. So I would put the first hole 5 inches up, and then it's got a slight angle to it. So you can see that little bit of angle there. So this project is coming along, but I'm running out of light here. And I actually need this back quiver for a archery shoot tomorrow. So I gotta work on it here through the evening. And this is the original. And we can see it's fairly thin leather. And the base of it is significantly thicker. So this is a 4 to 6 ounce. I've got the strap on. And then I've got the bottom sewed in as well. So I'm just going to punch holes, and I'll lace this for now. And if you're following the pattern right, the base should fit, and the base is pretty much right there. Key thing for this, you're not going to have this exact base. This is about 6 inches, but the important thing is you've got your own pattern. So right now, your main priority is making the base fit the quiver that you've sewn. That was a lot of sewing for one day, but I needed the quiver. I had needed the quiver for a long time, and I was just putting it off, to be honest. So things kind of got in a rush. I didn't show quite everything. The original design, which is right here, had 2 leather thongs going through, and that separated the quiver, and it let me compartmentalize arrows more or less. And it also just kept it from being just a large opening. It kind of kept it flat against my back. I love that about the original. So I just copied it over, I laid it over and put the holes on. You could space this down. It's about 2 fingers from the edge. That's kind of what the original was. Now the bottom for this. The bottom was a real pain. The factory bottom that I was trying to make was formed. So to do that, you would have to make a wooden form and then wet the leather, stretch it over the form, let it dry, and it would have created that cup. And then the way it was sewed, I would have to have put my hand down in and blind stitched the entire thing, which I did a lot of. All of this was all blind stitched. It was a pain. It was very time consuming. I was very tired when I was getting it done. So what I actually ended up doing is I took the factory piece and I turned it inside out. So I've got this lip. and then I stitched that all the way along. So looks wise, it's okay. It kind of incorporated some, whenever this is, 1950s vintage quiver, kind of incorporated that into it. I would not have done this if I wasn't in a pinch for time. So I don't suggest, obviously you're not going to have an old bottom to take, but what I will do if I get to re-sew the original one or on a second quiver, and what I suggest you do, once you have your shape, lay it down and just get a 1-inch board or a 1/2-inch board. So get some type of lightweight wood. Poplar would be fine. And just scribe it, cut it, sand it until it fits in here nice and neat, and then just put it in with tacks. So a little bit of glue or contact cement and tacks are going to hold up just fine. I would put a piece of heavy leather down over top of the wood just to keep the noise down, but that is absolutely your best bet to form a bottom for this quiver. So I also didn't have any hardware to attach this strap, and I needed it done. So the original, I don't have it out here with me. The original had a buckle. It was okay. I didn't want to reuse it. So what I ended up doing is just taking my 1/4-inch hole punch and just giving myself a couple different options. And I was out of leather actually, so I just put a piece of tan paracord in it. And that worked. I've got several different sizes. I didn't know how long this tail was going to be, so I left it full length. If you can see, here's an arrow here. So for the height of it, that's about right. I can reach it just fine. And I've got a couple extra holes in case I'm wearing this in the winter with a coat or something. So I'm not exactly sure yet how I'm going to leave this tail. I'm probably just going to use another piece of paracord or make a leather keeper. So next up for me is I'm going to stain this thing. All right, so the back quiver turned out great. I love the stain. I love the look of it. It's got that kind of distress marks in the leather. So a quiver like this is unique. It'll last for years. Nobody's gonna have one just like it. I like a back quiver because I can just throw it on and go out, do a quick practice session. I'm not sure if I'm gonna make broadhead covers and carry broadheads in this, but for blunts as well, if I go stump shooting or flu-flues, anything, I can have a whole arsenal of arrows back here. This thing would probably hold up to 24 arrows, I bet. So just follow the pattern, you can make one for yourself. Till next time, this has been Jamie Boggs with Burning River Bushcraft. See you soon.